The Book of Ecclesiastes leads us on a deep and realistic journey through life. Solomon, with all his wisdom and experience, observed the cycle of generations, the pursuit of wealth, the weight of emotions, and the uncertainty of the future, and he realized that many of the things we chase are not able to sustain the soul. In this study, we will reflect on 12 lessons that reveal what is temporary and what is eternal. Each teaching confronts us with important questions about time, money, character, decisions, and purpose. Ecclesiastes is not a pessimistic book, but an honest one. It removes illusions in order to guide us toward true wisdom. If this message has been uplifting to you, consider subscribing to the channel and leaving a like. This simple gesture helps strengthen the content and reach even more lives. And if you would like, share in the comments where you are watching from. It will be a joy to know how far this word has reached. Now let's begin. Lesson 1. The cycle of life continues. One generation passeth away, and another generation cometh, but the earth abideth forever. Ecclesiastes 1:4. Solomon describes life as a constant flow. People are born, live their stories, face struggles, celebrate achievements, and in time they depart. Soon after, another generation takes the same place, with new dreams and new challenges. The earth remains as the ongoing stage of this succession. This image reminds us that time does not stop and that no one is the permanent center of history. The verse invites us to see life with balance, neither with despair over its brevity nor with excessive attachment to what is temporary. Everything follows a cycle determined by God. True wisdom lies in recognizing that our life is part of this greater movement. We are called to live meaningfully while we have the opportunity, understanding that God's eternity is greater than any generation. This teaches us to value the present and trust in the divine purpose that spans across time. Lesson 2. Wealth does not satisfy. He that loveth silver shall not be satisfied with silver, nor he that loveth abundance with increase. This is also vanity. Ecclesiastes 5:10. The relentless pursuit of wealth produces constant dissatisfaction. Money itself is not condemned, but the love of it is presented as a source of emptiness. Solomon, who experienced unmatched abundance, recognized that the desire for more never truly ends. There will always be something bigger, newer, or more valuable to chase. This endless race generates anxiety and comparison. A heart that places its security in possessions will never find rest. True satisfaction does not come from how much we accumulate, but from how deeply we trust in God. When money becomes master, the soul loses its freedom. When God is Lord, resources become tools rather than idols. This lesson calls us to examine our priorities. Prosperity without eternal purpose leads to emptiness. Contentment is born from trust, not abundance. Lesson 3. We take nothing from this life. As he came forth of his mother's womb, naked shall he return to go as he came, and shall take nothing of his labor, which he may carry away in his hand. Ecclesiastes 5:15. From birth to our final breath, the human journey is marked by transience. Solomon emphasizes that we begin with nothing and depart in the same way. This simple observation reveals a profound truth. Everything we accumulate belongs only to this life. Efforts, achievements, and wealth have temporary value, but they do not cross into eternity. This does not mean that work is meaningless, but that it should not take the place of eternal purpose. When we understand that we carry nothing in our hands beyond this world, we begin to value what truly matters. Character, faith, and love are legacies that remain in the memory of others and before God. Awareness of this reality teaches us to live with balance, using material possessions as tools rather than as the foundation of our identity. Those who grasp the brevity of life learn to invest in what transcends time. Lesson 4. A good name is better. A good name is better than great riches, and loving favor rather than silver and gold. Ecclesiastes 7:1. Solomon reminds us that who we are is more valuable than what we own. A good name is not built on appearance, but on a life lived with consistency, honesty, and reverence for God. Wealth may fluctuate, investments may fail, and possessions may disappear, but character formed over time remains a lasting legacy. To be esteemed means to be trustworthy, someone whose word carries weight and whose actions confirm their principles. In a culture that exalts financial success, God continues to prioritize integrity. True prosperity is found in a clear conscience and in the respect earned through righteous choices. An upright reputation influences generations, inspires others, and glorifies God. Money may impress for a moment, but faithful character sustains relationships and opens doors in a solid and enduring way. To invest in integrity is to store up a treasure that neither time nor circumstances can destroy. Lesson 5. Mastery over emotions. Be not hasty in thy spirit to be angry, for anger resteth in the bosom of fools. Ecclesiastes 7:9. Solomon teaches us that a quick temper reveals inner weakness. Immediate reactions driven by impulse almost always produce undesirable consequences. Anger may arise as a natural response to injustice or frustration, but allowing it to rule the heart is a sign of foolishness. Wisdom is shown in self-control, not in outbursts. Those who learn to govern their emotions preserve relationships and avoid words that cannot be taken back. Spiritual maturity includes the ability to listen before speaking and to reflect before acting. Constant anger creates an atmosphere of tension and drives away peace. God calls us to serenity, patience, and balanced firmness. The truly wise person does not deny feelings, but chooses to express them with discernment. When calmness is cultivated, it guards the heart and leads to decisions that are more just, thoughtful, and conscious. Lesson 6. Trust in the face of the unknown. For he knoweth not that which shall be, for who can tell him when it shall be? Ecclesiastes 8:7. From the beginning, Solomon confronts us with a simple truth. Human beings do not have control over tomorrow. No matter how much we plan, there are factors that escape our control completely. When we insist on trying to predict everything, we overload our hearts with unnecessary worries. Anxiety is born from the illusion that we must control what has not yet happened. Yet human limitation should lead us to trust, not fear. God knows every detail of the future, even when it is invisible to us. Wisdom lies in accepting this reality and resting in His care. Instead of living imprisoned by uncertainty, we are called to live faithfully in the present. Tomorrow belongs to the Lord. When we learn to trust Him, we find peace even without complete answers, because we know that control is in the right hands. Lesson 7. Negligence weakens the structure. By much slothfulness the building decayeth, and through idleness of the hands the house droppeth through. Ecclesiastes 10:18. Solomon uses a simple yet powerful image, a house that begins to deteriorate not because of a great disaster, but because of a lack of maintenance. Laziness and negligence, though subtle at first, produce progressive damage. Small neglects, when accumulated, result in significant loss. This truth applies to material, emotional, and spiritual life. When we postpone responsibilities, we weaken what should be preserved. Diligence, on the other hand, sustains and strengthens what was built with effort. Spiritually, a lack of discipline in prayer, in reading the Word, and in watchfulness weakens our inner structure. God calls us to consistency and continual care. The momentary comfort of inactivity may seem harmless, but its effects appear over time. Keeping the roof strong requires daily action. Faithfulness in small tasks protects great achievements and preserves the stability of life. Lesson 8, Prudent and Generous Stewardship. Give a portion to 7 and also to 8, for thou knowest not what evil shall be upon the earth. Ecclesiastes 11:2. Solomon presents a principle of balance between prudence and generosity. By advising us to give to 7 and also to 8, he highlights the importance of not concentrating all resources in one direction. Life is marked by unpredictability, and wisdom lies in managing with broad vision and responsibility. Diversifying is a form of protection in the face of uncertainty. This teaching is not limited to finances. It also applies to time, talents, and opportunities. God calls us to be faithful stewards of what He entrusts to us. Generosity, when joined with prudence, strengthens relationships and builds security. Acting with balance demonstrates maturity. Trusting God does not mean acting recklessly, but exercising discernment in every decision. Wisdom guards us against unexpected crises and prepares the way for stability, even when times become challenging. Lesson 9. He who observes the wind will not sow. He that observeth the wind shall not sow, and he that regardeth the clouds shall not reap. Ecclesiastes 11:4. Solomon confronts us with a practical truth. Constant hesitation prevents progress. The wind represents the variables of life that we cannot control. The clouds point to possible difficulties. If we wait for complete stability, we will remain trapped in expectation and never begin anything. God calls us to an active faith, expressed through responsible decisions, even when circumstances are not ideal. The desire for absolute control often reveals a lack of trust. A farmer understands that the weather may change, yet he still casts the seed into the soil. He does his part and trusts the outcome. We are called to act in the same way. Excessive fear steals opportunities and weakens dreams. Faith does not remove risks, but it teaches us to move forward despite them. When we take steps with prudence and trust in God, we make room for Him to produce harvests that would never come from mere observation. Lesson 10. Appreciating the gift of life. Truly the light is sweet, and a pleasant thing it is for the eyes to behold the sun. Ecclesiastes 11:7. In poetic language, Solomon expresses the beauty of existence by declaring that light is sweet and pleasing. Light symbolizes life, hope, and opportunity. To see the sun rise is to remember that God grants another day, another chance to begin again. Too often, busyness and worries prevent us from recognizing the value of simple things, yet the very ability to live, breathe, and see is already a gift. Darkness makes us realize even more how precious light truly is. This lesson invites us to cultivate daily gratitude, acknowledging that each sunrise is a sign of God's renewed mercy. Even in the midst of challenges, life remains a present. When we learn to appreciate the light we have today, we develop a lighter, more confident and hopeful perspective to face any circumstance. Lesson 11. The awareness of eternity. Then shall the dust return to the earth as it was, and the spirit shall return unto God who gave it. Ecclesiastes 12:7. Solomon concludes his reflection by reminding us of the inevitable reality of the human condition. The body, formed from dust, returns to the earth. It is fragile, limited, and temporary. Yet the spirit, the divine breath given by God, returns to the one who gave it. This truth calls us to live with an eternal perspective. Too often, we invest most of our time in what is visible and temporary, forgetting that our spiritual essence is what truly endures. Recognizing the finiteness of the body should not produce fear, but wisdom. Awareness of eternity helps us prioritize lasting values, cultivate a relationship with God, and live with purpose. Earthly life is brief, yet meaningful when aligned with the Creator. Preparing the soul is more important than preserving appearances. When we understand that we belong to God, we learn to live each day with reverence, responsibility, and hope in what is eternal. Lesson 12. The true purpose of life. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep His commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. Ecclesiastes 12:13. After many reflections on what is temporary, Solomon points to what truly remains. He declares that above every human pursuit, there is one essential calling: to live in reverence and obedience to God. To fear the Lord is to recognize His greatness and align our hearts with His will. To keep His commandments is to allow that reverence to shape our thoughts, choices, and daily actions. This is the foundation that sustains life. Without God at the center, everything becomes unstable and empty. With Him, even the simplest tasks gain meaning. Human purpose is not found in accumulating experiences, but in aligning with the Creator. When obedience becomes a consistent practice, life finds secure direction and eternal value. Solomon summarizes it in one clear truth: the true meaning of existence is found in living for God. And so we close this reflection with our hearts turned toward what truly matters. May everything shared here not remain merely words or study, but become practical direction for your life. May the Lord grant you discernment to prioritize what is eternal, balance to handle what is temporary, and serenity to trust Him in every season. As time passes and generations move on, God remains the same. He is the firm foundation when everything around us changes. May you live with reverence, wisdom, and purpose, knowing that your story is in the hands of the Creator. Receive this word as a prayer over your life. May the Lord strengthen your faith, guard your heart, renew your hope, and guide every decision you need to make. May there be peace in your home, direction in your paths, and confidence in your tomorrow. Thank you so much for staying until the end. May God richly bless your life, and I will see you in the next video.